love this teaching because we don't have to try to be somebody that we're not, that we are perfect, whole, and complete just the way we are. Yes. And so my question to you is, are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready to be free?
Yes.
Take a deep breath. We're going to do our treatment for freedom together aloud. I speak my word for myself, my center, and all its members and friends. I know love as the only reality. I am created out of love. Love is what I am. I know this love as absolute freedom in every area of my life, the life of my center, and all who call it home. I know our center's mortgages are paid in full, and I claim for all of us financial freedom with all debts paid and cleared. I release any sense of struggle or wrongdoing. I live in an abundant universe where there is more than enough for all. We experience freedom in every moment by always having more than enough money, vibrant health, and loving relationships. We are who we have come here to be. With hearts open wide, we see the world through the eyes of love. We are blessed, we are rich, and we are free. And so it is. And we use our points of power. I always pay attention. I always tell the truth and tell it quickly. I always ask for what I want when I want it. I always take total responsibility for my experience. I always keep my agreements. And so it is.
Yes, it is.
Just one thing. I was talking to somebody last week, just in passing. They said 8 months ago I was in so much debt. Now it is completely gone. 8 months.
8 months, 8 seconds, what's the difference? It happens perfectly. Hi, everybody. Hi. I'm going to talk about light today. Yeah. As soon as I get my notes in right here. There they are. Okay, we're going to talk about light today. You all probably have noticed or participated in what we call a circle. It's not like really a circle, it's more of an amoeba-shaped thing, where we hold hands up here and we light this candle. And a practitioner holds the candle, another practitioner lights it. And when it's my turn to do the prayer that follows that, I usually start by saying, we light the light that represents the light that shines from within us all, to begin that process. This idea of light is an important spiritual concept that we talk about all the time, but we really don't often delve into it. What does that mean? What is light? Well, we all know the idea of light, this thing that we use to make our vision work. And without light, there would be no ability for us to see one another and have that incredible scope of possibility called vision. So we know that part. But at a spiritual level, there's other elements and other aspects to this thing called light to pursue and to understand. It's true that in many other cultures around the world, they have different words for this idea of an energy that exudes from human beings. The people in India call it the prana. In China, they call it chi. In Japan, they call it ki. And the kahuna in Hawaii call it mana. Lots of different names for the same idea of an energy that comes forth from the individual, an energy that creates a sense of power and ability and accomplishment, which is truly that unseen light. Not all light is seen, but it has many of the same elements that we would talk about with the idea of the physical illumination of light in our lives. Light, when light is present, darkness isn't. Nothing really changed other than the light was there. But the light is so complete and so absolute that it doesn't allow in its presence for there to be darkness. Yes, there are shadows, and shadows are an entirely different concept that we're not going to talk about today. But in this idea of light, even at a spiritual level, the same is true. This idea that we see better, that we understand better, that things are clearer when we are using that internal light of who we are. When that is the presence that we exude from and we are aware of it, it gives us an incredible ability to see our lives more clearly. And I'm not talking about objectively in the physicality of light, but in the essence of who we are. When we shine that light out into the world, things get clearer. And that's who we are. So we use this idea of what we see from this big ball of fire that's at the center of the solar system, which we whirl around. We use that as this essence of light. And it does. It brings light to this planet. It shines light onto other spheres in the solar system that shine it back on us. They give us all these elements of understanding. The same is true in our lives. That when we are clear about that light that we are, the clarity of our life expands much, much further. And in fact, not only for ourselves, but other people experience it. Other people become aware of our light. Is our light different than someone else's? No. But the idea of being aware of it and using that light is a powerful tool in our spiritual toolbox. And don't we want to do that? We want to experience as much of life as we can. That's our job as spiritual beings, and awakening to who we are, the spiritual magnificence that we are. We want to shine out. It's not an ego thing. It's a real thing about how we live in the world. Have you ever come into a room where there was someone that was maybe a spiritual master, some of those people that come over from India sometimes, and you step into the room and go, whoa, that's the light. That's them being aware of who they are and bringing that into an entire space. The idea of light is not a visual thing at that point as much as an energetic thing. And that's something to understand and use in our life. And if you're going, well, I'm not really sure what he's talking about. This isn't new concepts of the 21st century. This is something that has been around through the ages. It's written of in the Upanishads. And Jesus spoke of it. You know the saying that Jesus said. He said, you're the light of the world. No one lights a lamp and puts it under a basket. A lamp is placed on a stand where it gives light to everyone in the house. That's who you are. So putting it under a basket is a metaphor for not knowing that you have a light, not exuding that light into the world, not bringing your spiritual essence out to play. Life is better when there's light. Always, life is better when there's light. So this idea and if you're confused by the last line there, Yeshua ben Joseph, that's what I call Jesus. So if you still call him Jesus, that's fine, but that's what I call him. So as a spiritual notion, this idea of light is present in everyone, not more in one person than another. But it seems different. It seems like there's a quantifiable difference because of the awareness of it. But truly, there is no quantity of light that is greater in one person than another. It's this idea of, are you actually open to the world to let the world know that you are the light, that you are that divine presence? We have the benefit of not looking for a light outside of ourselves, off in the distance somewhere. Sort of like our relationship with the sun, which is that natural physicality of a relationship with a spherical body that illumines. At a spiritual level, you're not looking outside, you're looking within. That's the place where the light is. I mean, you may see that light in others, and I hope that you do, but for your light to shine, it comes from within you. And there's this thing that I think some people get confused about around light. They think that somehow the light is a guiding force in your life. It's not. That's not the purpose of the light, to tell you what to do. It is interesting, we as spiritual beings continue to look for something or someone to tell us what to do. Not going to happen. The light, however, in its amazing essence, makes things brighter, helps us to see what it is that we should see, provides us with the ability to draw on the wisdom that is already there. The divine presence that's already there, to see it and to participate in its activity in life. Sort of like David's song this morning said, You know, that we are in action, we are in motion. And to know that and to experience that fully, we do that in the light. So don't be asking the light to show you the way. The light illumines the way so that you can see it. There's a difference, and it's important. So we're not giving any power to this light beyond the essence of who we are. We are simply being in the light, in its fullness, in its absoluteness. Another element of light is that it's an expression of joy. There's a lightness of being, what I said in the circle today. A lightness of beingness that we can embody. What's that cute line that sometimes is said, angels can fly because they take themselves so lightly? Perhaps that's something that we can do as well. Not get bogged down in the heaviness of life. Not live in a place of sorrow or fear or confusion or any of those energies that are so heavy that bog us down, but to remember that we are the light and to live in that lightness, in that airiness, in that loveliness, where even when things are hard, even when things sadden us, that we return to the light. We remember who we are, and from that place, we get the fullness of our experience. The light's a powerful notion. And as I said, we say it around here all the time. It's in the songs we sing, it's in our opening, it's everywhere. I want us to think about it a little more. That's what I'm asking you to do today, is recognize that light within you. Now, if you're caught up in some kind of sadness today, and I'm sure that some of you are, because this one that we love so much has left us in her body. You know, Dorothy's gone. And there's a sadness with that. And what I've learned from my work with energy is that there's nothing wrong with feeling grief. The grief is one of the heaviest energies that's available, and we use it to fill that place where it's empty because someone we love is gone. It's okay to do that for a while, but our natural way of being is to be the light. So it's incumbent upon us to return to the light, to return to that being the light, not going to a place of light, but to be that light in our lives. And what I'm discovering in sitting with my feelings about Dorothy is that she was a great light in my life. And I'm so grateful for her. But when I think of her, the light expands in me. That's Dorothy. And I want that to be the truth with Dorothy and with anyone else who lives my life. To be able to think of them and to be illuminated by that knowing. And I'll share my stories of Dorothy this afternoon when we have our time together with her in our hearts completely. But she is a perfect example of how it is our job to remember that light and to live from that light and to live from that lightness in everything that we do. And that when we fall into what seems like an abyss for a momentary situation, okay, not wrong, not bad, just remember who we are. And we return to the lightness. We return to that glowing illumination, which is the spirit of who we are, beyond our physicality. And that's a gift. That's a great gift. So, Barbara and I do our spiritual practice in the morning. Whether we're in Florida or we're here, it's important to us to begin the day knowing the truth. And we do something we started a couple of summers ago, which is our CSO letter. And one of the things with this Chief Spiritual Officer letter that we write, which is simply a letter of gratitude. The instructions we got from the wonderful woman that wrote that all up was start with some kind of inspirational, motivational reading. Well, I had just received a book of motivational readings, 365 kind of book, before we started that. So I said, I want to use this, and we've been doing that. More than once, Barbara has said, motivation is nice, but it's more important to be inspired. And so I said, well, okay, I'm going to finish this book for the year, and it's going to go great. But in January, I want to start a new book. And the book that I've chosen is called 365 Days of Richer Living by Ernest Holmes and one of his students and colleagues, Raymond Charles Barker. Barker is the minister who had the big church at Alice Tully Hall in New York City. And the two of them put this book together. And just for fun yesterday, I turned to October 30th to see what it would say. about light. So no accidents around here. Only love. So what I would like you to do is join me in this prayer of light, this wonderful thing. And I'd invite you to get yourself in a comfortable position. I'm going to ask you to close your eyelids. And take a deep breath. And become more aware of your connection with life. That connection is your divine nature. Light is your divine nature. Wherever you may be in your heart today, I invite you to set down anything that might be in your way, just for a moment or two. And take another breath. And see if you can be aware of that light, not around you, but that light that shines from within you out into the world. That prana, that chi, that mana. Be aware of that. And from your heart, allow it to glow outward all around you. And just fill that space around you with this most brilliant sense of light. And as you do that, see how a smile fits in. And receive these words. I walk in the light of truth. There is no darkness on my pathway. For my God is with me, and my God indwells me. I am the light of my own world, and I let my light shine. I radiate divine love to all who meet me this day. I speak a loving word to all I greet this day. I know that from a center within myself there flows out through me the light of healing. All my affairs are now illumined with infinite intelligence. I am wise with the wisdom of spirit. The light of God fills my consciousness, and I know everything that I need to know instantly. My pathway is radiant with good, and I am divinely guided in all my ways. My world is alive with God, and my body is filled with the light of life. And as you take that in, be aware of the light as it brings a softness and a sweetness into this day. Surrender your concerns to the light and trust that things are working out just fine. We are connected. And this light is that connection. We are the light. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And allow that to be the truth for you this day and every day. And receive the words of Rumi and know that you are loved.